Yes, people, what's going on? AdamMcKola here. We are back. This is the Manchester United Everton preview. Big game for Manchester United this weekend. I say this for every game because every game for Manchester United, whilst we are on the coattails of Manchester City, is important. We need to keep winning games, to keep stepping on their necks. And we know they've got a few tricky fixtures coming up, despite the fact Liverpool have lost back-to-back games at Anfield. And you know, Man City are in amazing form. Their next 2-3 fixtures are fairly tricky, and they may just drop points. Now, if City go and win all 3 of those games, I think we're all sitting here thinking, bloody hell, it's going to take a lot to stop them. But there's hope that they will drop points. And while there is hope that they will drop points, while there is still a long way to go in this campaign, Manchester United need to keep making it difficult for them. Because when you look around, nobody else is seriously competing. If Liverpool can get a victory against City, they will be 4 points behind. City will have a game in hand on them, potentially 7 points off Manchester City. Still a long way to go, but that's a difficult bridge to gap. Manchester United, on the other hand, you know, we're 4 points. I think it could be 3 points, could be 6 if they win their game in hand. We're still looking a little bit off the pace, but if they drop a few points, we could be there to capitalise. But we got to stay on their necks, and we've got to keep winning these games and making sure that we are the team to capitalise. So, massive game for us. And this game against Everton, it doesn't get easier than this, really. It doesn't get more difficult than this in the Premier League, does it? Especially at this time. Carlo Ancelotti's side are ticking over rather well at the minute. They're looking very good. Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored again, getting back into the goals for him now. Sigurdsson's popping up with goals for them. And yes, they have the ability to drop points here, there and everywhere, but they have the ability to turn up in games as well. And they're one of those teams that I think if they win their games in hand, they'll be level on points with Liverpool, which shows you just how good they are doing in this campaign. So we do need to make sure we're winning this one so we can stay on Manchester City's necks and make sure we're there if they do slip up. And we could go level on points with Manchester City, although they'd have 2 games in hand on us going into that game against Liverpool. I'm still backing a draw in that one. Nothing can quite take me round to wanting Liverpool to win, although that will probably be the best result for us. But I am looking for a little draw there. If we win our game, then we're 1 point behind them. They've got a game in hand. That game in hand is against Everton. Hope Everton can get a draw, maybe even beat them. 1 or 2 points behind them, going into the running. It could be on, and it could get very tight. And we still got that game coming up against them. But in order to be able to do that, we have to make sure we win our games. And this game's important for Manchester United. We'll be looking at the team news ahead of this game. We'll be looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjær's quotes ahead of this game in the press conference as well. Amad Diallo is currently in action as well for the under-23s if you're watching this live. So if there are any updates on that, I'll let you know if there's any goals in that game. Let me just bring it up so that I have it here in case there is a goal. But yeah, Amad Diallo is in action for Manchester United's under-23s. And when I was looking at the under-23s lineup, it looked pretty good, you know. When you see the likes of Hannibal Mejbri, Amad Diallo, Shola Sharatire, I hope I said his name right, and then you've got young Joe Hugill up top banging in all the goals. It's a very, very talented under-23 side. So if anything happens in that game, it's currently 0-0. Manchester United's 23s against Blackburn, with Amad Diallo playing in that one. Sean says, sorry for pissing you off after the arse. It's all good, man. We're all family here. Obviously, we all have disagreements sometimes. After the Arsenal game, I was a bit disappointed. I know those points in that week were important, and dropping 5 points was massive for Manchester United, especially when you look at the table now. Those 5 points could be really, really important. And I understood particularly the disappointment after losing that game against Sheffield United. That was a game that we shouldn't have been losing. Totally get it. It should have been 3 points for Man United in that game. But the Arsenal one, less so. It was an Arsenal side that on the basis of the play, if we take our chances, we beat them. But it's an Arsenal side that has improved, at least with their organisation and things over. So the draw, and people complaining about the draw against Arsenal, I didn't quite get it. The Sheffield United game, I did get it. But then I was also looking at the fact that we're seeing teams in the Premier League, around us, dropping points on a regular basis. Dropping points left, right and centre. And we've been fairly consistent. Like in the league, 13 games we were unbeaten until that Sheffield United game. We lost that Sheffield United game. But then we managed to, alright, we didn't win, but we drew against Arsenal in a game that could have went west if we didn't react well after that defeat against Sheffield United. And then we beat Southampton 9-0. Now, we were helped a little bit, and what with the red card, playing against 10 men for 90 minutes, it obviously helped us a little bit. But what was interesting and what I liked from Ole Gunnar Solskjær was he spoke about that game, and he goes, we've got to take the good and the bad with the bad sometimes. You know what the boys took from that one is that we did the right things, kept good habits. I don't think anyone will get carried away with the scoreline, because we know we played against 10 men for the full game. Of course, that's demoralising when they lose a player, like they did when we got to 2-0. The game was more or less over. We've not mentioned the game at all, really. All the focus has been on Everton. And I'm really enjoying the way Ole Gunnar Solskjær, after a good result, he's always quick to, boom, turn the attention round to the next game. And that's key, because one of the things this Manchester United side has had the ability to do at times is get carried away with itself. Just when you think, right, we've arrived, we've turned the corner, we're not quite there, and we could carry a setback again. So we do need to get that consistency. Nemanja Matic spoke about it at the start of the season, and he was bang on. Now, nobody expected us to be involved in a potential title race this season. But he said, if we want to be involved in a title race, when we are in these games, we have to make sure that, if we do drop points in a game, then the next one we're not losing back-to-back games. And you've seen Spurs do that, you've seen Liverpool do that, and it's good that we've had the response that we have had to defeat. Obviously, the response to winning 9-0 is different. We saw after the Liverpool game when we beat them in the cup, we went into the Sheffield United game maybe a little bit complacent. We got shown up for it. So we can't afford that in this game, but I don't think we will. And I like that it's a difficult game. It's not Liverpool or City, where a game you go into it and you probably change the way you play a little bit because you know the opposition can hurt you. We know Everton can hurt us, but I still think we'll respect them, but play our way as well. And we've seen against Everton at Goodison Park, we've had that. We've had some good performances there. And hopefully we can continue doing that. I remember there was a game at Everton where, talked about good performances. It wasn't a good performance at all. We got battered 4-0. And it seemed like a real turning point for Ollie, with a lot of people in his squad that, some of these players won't be here anymore. Now, there's a few that are still here. But there seems to be a much better mentality in the team. And the likes of Edinson Cavani, the likes of Bruno Fernandes are... a massive part of the way United are reacting. Ollie, this is one of the questions to him. It'll be your 100th Premier League match as a manager. What have you learned in that time, and how different of a manager are you to the one that started your journey at Cardiff? He said, I'm a bit older and wiser, a lot more grey up top, but I really enjoyed it, of course. I didn't know it was my 100th game. What you learn is that the game is moving so much quicker. You've got to keep up with the pace of the game. The difference between when I started in 2014 with Cardiff and where it is now, it's a different ball game. Of course, players get better and better, fitter and more tactical. Of course, I've enjoyed not every one of them. You don't enjoy the ones when you lose, but you enjoy testing yourself against good coaches and managers. Speaking about Ancelotti, he said he's a manager that you look up to and you respect. He's a winner everywhere he's been. The influence at PSG, AC Milan, Chelsea, Real Madrid. You can see the roots of that at Everton now as well. They've started fantastically. They've won their last 4 away games. It's a team that you're in a battle when you play against them. They've won their last 4 away games. Now, our away form's pretty impressive. Our home form, not so much. although it has improved in recent times, ignoring that defeat against Sheffield United. But we need to get, we can't be affording to drop more points at home, especially if you fancy yourself as potential title winners. You just can't do it. And this is another one of those games where we have to make sure we're at the races and we are there to win the game. No drop points are allowed, I'm afraid. In terms of injuries, Ole Gunnar Solskjær has said Edinson Cavani will be okay for this game. Maybe touch and go, so you may see him on the bench, but he said he'll be okay. So that's a good thing that he'll be back this weekend in the matchday squad, whether he's starting or not. Someone that's going to possibly miss the game is Eric Bailly, who's on his way back from that injury that he picked up. There's been pictures of him in training with Paul Pogba and stuff, so hopefully he's not too bad. And we're just taking our time with his return. Not a good signing, picking up another injury, but hopefully nothing that's too serious. In terms of the Everton, questionable for them is Alan. He's got a thigh injury. And Jordan Pickford, who I think's out of this game, which is probably a blessing for Everton because I don't rate him as a goalkeeper at all. Ollie's exact words on Edinson was, Edinson should be available, definitely. He got a bad ankle knock there. Eric Bailly is a doubt. Apart from that, everyone's raring to go. Asked about Sergio Romero, he says Sergio's working hard training. He's in the group, of course. He's lost a lot of training early on. He's joined us very late after having some time back home and over Christmas. He's had some time back in Argentina with the family. He's working with the keepers, but of course with Dean and Lee and David, it's been more difficult to get into the match. It's so weird that he's just like, yeah, he's been in Argentina with family. No, I'm not blaming Ole Gunnar Solskjær. I think he's a player that we expected him to leave Manchester United. It didn't happen for whatever reasons, but like just being like, yeah, he was in Argentina while we've been paying his wages and there's a season going on. It's madness, but hopefully that will be resolved soon, respectfully as well, because I got a lot of time for Sergio Romero, but yeah, it's time to let him go, isn't it? Matt Dean thinks Cavani should be on the bench. David says, what is the story with Donny put out on loan? I don't think Donny van der Beek will be put out on loan at all. Jones, Smalling, Dalot and Lukaku started in the 4-0 loss. Young, Pereira, Sanchez were on the bench. We've come a long, long way, says Sean. Glenn Fletcher saying, for the first time, I am saying, come on Liverpool, and hopefully the last time. What's going on? Ellis in the comments. Aaron's in the comments. Up top, Adam, who we having? Cavani or Anthony Martial? Let's look at my predicted 11 for this one. Remember, it's my predicted 11. This is the team that I've gone with. It's got Edinson Cavani up top, as you can see. If he's fit, you start him. Great to see the boy Anthony Martial back in goals against Sheffield United. I thought his first goal was fantastic. The touch, the turn, the strength, the finish. It was a really good goal. His second goal wasn't bad either. Should have had a hat-trick when he dinked the keeper. It looked like a vintage Anthony Martial goal, but unfortunately went the other side of the post. But great to see him getting them goals, winning the penalty. I say winning. And then, of course, it'll boost his confidence massively. But we need to keep him ticking over, obviously. But if Edinson Cavani is fit, I'd start him. Maybe introduce Anthony Martial from the bench again for Cavani or Rashford or whatever. Let him get another goal off the bench. That would be great. Keep, lifting his confidence before probably starting him in the next game. So that's the team I'd go with. David De Gea in goal. Obviously, Eric Bailly is a doubt, so I doubt he'll start. Maguire and Lindelof. Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw as fullbacks played very well against Southampton, although they didn't have much to do defensively. In the attacking third, they were incredible. Pogba and Matic in the midfield. Tomine was very good, as was Fred in midweek. But I'd go with Pogba and Matic in this one. Pogba getting a rest in that game as well. Bruno Fernandes is always going to start, isn't he? Mason Greenwood, Rashford and Edinson Cavani. Cavani coming off at half-time. Marcus Rashford coming off as well as a substitute in that last game. I think it shows that they will start this one. Obviously, Cavani came off with a knock, but he was probably one of them ones where he could have continued if he had to, and we weren't playing against 10 men and all that stuff. But for me, that is the team that I would go with in this game. Let me know what you lot think about that. Get your questions, your comments, your super chats, all that stuff in. Get hitting that like button, guys. Get commenting, get sharing. Chivas with Benchwood, Liverpool. Everton will be a much better attacking force than Southampton, so we do need Matic as Sean. Will Bruno starts as Sammy? I do think Bruno Fernandes will start in this game. It makes sense to start Bruno Fernandes. I think he's a very, very good player, obviously, but his engine is incredible as well. And I think, in the last game against Southampton, he wouldn't have been put through much stress in terms of, United and the way we were playing. We were dominating possession. We were looking good on the ball. So I don't think Bruno is going to need resting in this one. When we look at our fixtures that are coming up after this one, we've obviously got the cup game against West Ham. So let's have a look at United's fixtures coming up. We've obviously got the West Ham game 3 days later. Maybe that's the one where Donny van der Beek gets a start. Then we got West Brom away. Even then you could possibly rest Bruno Fernandes. Real Sociedad away in the Europa League. I think we should be resting a couple of players in that competition. So I don't think Bruno Fernandes is going to be rested in this game. He's also in the games when we've played against Everton. He's looked quite good against them as well. He's had some joy against Everton. So I don't think we need to be resting Bruno Fernandes in this game. Our last 4 results against Everton after that 4-0 defeat have been positive. 2 draws and then 2 victories. 3-1 away from home in the 8th game week of the season this season, where Bruno Fernandes got 2 and Edinson Cavani wrapped up a 3-1 win. Obviously as well in that game, we went behind. It's one of those games in that run where we went behind. So, had a good game against them there. And then I remember I think Martial changed the game in the cup against them when he came on as a sub, assisted Edinson Cavani for his goal. Edinson Cavani was brilliant that day. One of the bits of skill that Edinson Cavani showed when the ball came down to him about 3 yards out and he's controlled it, flicked it back. Like the touch to just bring it onto his other foot. The shot was saved. It was a good save by I think it was Jordan Pickford in the goal at that time. Funnily enough, that's what he is strong at, his shot stopping. But the touch from Edinson Cavani just showed his quality. It was immaculate. Something you could expect from Dimitar Berbatov. And that was one of the games where Anthony Martial got a goal in as well. So the cup game and the away games against Everton this season, we've been quite good in those ones. Hopefully we can keep that up at Old Trafford this time around. We can't afford to drop points to CCR. City need to slip up. H says Everton are a good team. I agree with that. It's a hard game. I agree with that as well. I'm not expecting this to be an easy one. When you look at the players that Everton have, I know Alan's a doubt. But, he's been a fantastic signing in there, giving them balance in the midfield. When you look at what they're doing, up top with the likes of Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Andre Gomez in the midfield, who I think is very, very good. Sigurdsson beginning to find his feet again as well, now getting goals and assists and things like that. So you look at their team and it's very strong. Alex Iwobi is playing well for them. So they've got a team that can cause you problems all over the park. But it's one that will let you play as well, I think. They'll let us play because they'll be confident in their ability to play. And let's see what happens. I think I'm positive about this game, whilst I am wary of the Everton threat that they pose to Manchester United. So, yeah. Let's see what happens. 9-0 last time. That was fun, wasn't it? It's good that we had that game as well, because playing against 10 men for so long, 9 men for the last 5-6 minutes, it wouldn't have been as strenuous on Manchester United's players as it could have been that game against Southampton. A Hasenhüttl side with 11 men, they work you hard. I think even if you get the victory, they work you hard. So to have played that game at second gear almost would have been good for the United players. So they would have almost had a night off day. It was a training ground thingy, wasn't it? Event. Another Aaron Wan-Bissaka goal. Imagine that, his 3rd goal of the season it'd be. David says Mourinho sat this weekend. I don't think that will happen anytime soon. He's got the League Cup final on the horizon. And you are, especially this season, always a couple of results away from getting yourself back in contention. And also, he's got a big payout on his contract, which I can't see being activated anytime soon. I think they'll give him a little bit of time, especially having sacked Pochettino to bring him in. I can't see it happening. Hoping for another clean sheet, says Matt Dean. Would love another clean sheet. We need to start getting them as well. When you look at Manchester City this season, they have been ruthless, but they've also been very good in terms of picking up those clean sheets as well and getting the tighter victories that you wouldn't normally associate with them. You know that they can beat teams 4-5-0, but 1-0 against Sheffield United. Get fixtures like that where they're just getting the 1-0 victories, 2-0 victories, big wins for them. Hopefully they dry up soon because we need them to start dropping points. Get hitting that like button, guys. Get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing. Antrim says, why change a winning 11 Pogba as super sub? I don't know if you've noticed, Antrim, but United have changed the team routinely throughout the campaign, which is one of the benefits that we've had because we've had a strong bench, because we've been able to rotate the midfield, play McTominay and Fred, play Matic and Pogba, bring in Donny van der Beek occasionally. Because we've been able to make those changes, we've looked fresher than some teams have at times. So I don't know what you're on about. Why change a winning 11? Ollie's changed a winning 11 on a number of occasions in the last couple of weeks and months. Greenwood needs to find the back of the net, says TKRP. I don't think he needs to. Like, if he doesn't, it's the end of the world. But it'd be good to see him score. He scored not long ago against Liverpool. It's not a bad goal to get, is it? And he looked sharp and strong against Southampton. It was unfortunate he didn't get a goal. I think his shot ricocheted, was saved, and to the feet of Scott McTominay, who scored. I don't think he's looked that bad in terms of his performances in recent time. 2 red cards in 5 minutes, says David. Hopefully not for United. Need to keep rotating. It's been working, says Sean. Yeah, not making massive rotation is key because we haven't really rotated Wan-Bissaka, Shaw, Maguire that much, or De Gea. We've kept them there, which has kind of made us a little bit stronger at the back. Bailly and Lindelof have been rotating. Matic and Pogba have seemed to be a pair, McTominay and Fred. Occasionally Pogba will start on the left and Rashford on the right, and okay, but it's been McTominay and Fred or Matic and Pogba. That rotation's really helped. Bruno, playing Donny against Liverpool in the league, being able to in the FA Cup, being able to make that change even for the one game in a big game. People say that Ollie doesn't trust Donny van der Beek. You don't start against Liverpool if the manager doesn't trust you. It's that simple. But the ability to rotate has really helped us. And obviously we still need to strengthen our squad. You look at the right wing, centre-back, if Bailly's not going to be fit for long, we need to sort some of those areas out. Stephen Kang says, what are your thoughts on Ruben Diaz? I think he's been incredible for Manchester City so far this season. He's brought more out of John Stones as well, which has been really good to see. Well, not really good to see, but it shows that he is, you look at Eric Bailly and how he settled in alongside Maguire and made Maguire better, which was really good to see. Ruben Diaz has done that to John Stones. Anshum says that was a cup game. Come on. It's against Liverpool. Losing to Liverpool then would have been a massive blow to United. So, David says, glad we didn't sign Bale. I wasn't advocating for the signing of Bale at the time. But I do think Ollie gets a little bit more out of him, to be totally honest with you. I think Gareth Bale's someone at the moment that needs a little bit of love. Needs a little bit of an arm around him. Needs to be told that he's the man. Even if that is in a substitutes role. Even if that is as a squad player, a match winner off the bench. He needs to be shown a little bit of love. We've got nothing on the right-hand side. Like, in terms of a natural winger, we haven't got anything. Which affects the balance of our attack at times. He could have probably worked with Ollie and his man management skills. I just didn't see that working with Jose and Bale. But look, this isn't about them. I did a video on Jose Mourinho yesterday with Smitherdy and Rory after we finished on the kickoff, which you can go and check out after we're here. And while we're here, I am still going to be continuing with the Manchester United content. like this, like the aftermath, like the Weekly United, like, you know, the Rumorators, the United Daily Lives and all that stuff. But also, I'm going to be doing more general football stuff with the likes of Rory, with the likes of other people, just to get ourselves out there a little bit and build the channel and continue to grow the conversation that we can have here. So don't panic if you see other videos like you did yesterday. There will be more United content, obviously, as well. And that will be predominantly what's going on here. But we'll have a little bit of general chit-chat. Me and Rory are going to be doing more together as well. So keep it locked for all of that. Diallo will be in soon on the right. Let's have a look at what the score is there right now, as we're almost 26 minutes in. It's 1-1 between Blackburn and Manchester United. Hannibal Medjbury equalised for United after McBride had scored for Blackburn after 13 minutes. So it's now 1-1 between the under-23s in that one. Guys, make sure you're getting your score predictions in right now as well. That's obviously my predicted 11. But get your score predictions into us right about now, guys. Make sure you're doing that. And yeah, right there's my one. Let us know your one. My score prediction for this game, 2-1 to Manchester United. I think it's going to be a tight, edgy, tactical game that could swing back and forth. But I do think United will get over the line. Nostalgic Neil, thank you for getting involved. Get your score predictions in. Matt Dean's panicking. Do we really need Sancho? I think we need a right winger, so yes. Shivesh says keep up the convos with Rory. Will do. Yeah, Rory's a good lad, man. Even if you disagree with some of his comments or his opinions on football, he is a good lad. Chips TV saying 1-1. 3-2 United says David. 3-1 says CCR. 3-1 says Bajangle. 2-0 says Matt Dean. Steven says 3-1. 2-2 says Ansham. Diallo is playing in the 23s. 3-1 says Sean. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Manchester United. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you like and comment, share and subscribing. We'll have reaction up after the game as well, so make sure you join us for that. I'm on the watch along for Stretford Paddock, so make sure you join us for that. Until then, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm out of here.